What is the position of the Baha'i teachings, the Baha'i Faith, on racism and race unity? Well, racism and racial prejudice, when Baha'u'llah brought the social teachings for this era, he forbid us to have that racial prejudice and said that one of the goals is to have the elimination of prejudice. Many other teachings in terms of the unity of mankind, the unity of humanity. Well, he spent 40 years in prison, and then when his son came out of prison, when the whole family was in prison for the 40 years based on the teachings that he brought, Abdu'l-Baha's son came over to America in April of 1912 when racism was rampant in not just the South, but the North. So when he was in New York, he gathered together black and white people within one home. And when he was going to give his talks. And the white women actually served the black women lunch. And he talked about the diversity is a beautiful thing. It's like a multicolored rose garden. And he picked up back a black child, put him on his knee, talked about the beauty of this child. And the black of the eye of all of us is beautiful. It's how we look out into the world through the black pupil. So this was the teachings. In fact, when he was at a very prestigious gathering of people in Washington, D.C., which was quite racist, extremely so, Louis Gregory, who was a black Baha'i, who happened to be an attorney, he had him sit right next to him. And because Louis was a little uncomfortable, many of the other white people there were all uncomfortable, but he still insisted on that Louis should sit next to him. So he was the exemplar for Baha'is, an example of getting us into race unity, going past racism, and he encouraged interracial marriage. He encouraged interracial marriage when people wouldn't even walk on the same street as a black person, which was terrible. Encouraged, in fact, he arranged the marriage with Louis Gregory and a white Baha'i. He suggested they get married, and they did. So this was in the year of 1912 when he was here, encouraging this. So that's the position that we believe in the unity of humanity, the unity of the races, unity and diversity. And that having white and black people adds to the beauty of the rose garden. That's what Abdu'l-Baha brought and what his father Baha'u'llah came to bring, one of the many of the social teachings for this age, all under the fabric of unity of humankind, the family of humanity.